going on? Figured I'd do a show from my refrigerator. So anyway, just let's go into my room. Yeah, place you down here. So my month of can is over. Celebratory Wild Cherry Pepsi. So can, aka character animation. Really sweet class, okay, I'll be honest. The projects were great. I learned a lot about keyframing animation in this class, and overall I was pretty satisfied with what I came out with. You had a basic walk cycle, an emotional change. You know, you had your typical bouncing ball in the beginning, and strong poses, learning about silhouettes and strong poses that you use in animation. And you also had the final was an audio clip, so you had to take whatever audio clip that you choose from their library, and you had to do an animation and also a lip sync on top of that. So that was a pretty cool final. I think my final came out the best out of all my animations, so you could definitely tell that from the very beginning to when I finished, I definitely came a long way. So I feel more confident in my animation, in my ability to animate, and that's all that really matters. I'm going to upload some of my animations in another video, the video of my work, but I'm insanely busy, so it might be a little while before I could actually get that out. Projects were cool, but the staff, like I said, the staff didn't really change. I mean, you got more comfortable with the way that they were towards the end, so it was a little easier to deal with. But overall, professionally, you're not going to get critiques that you really enjoy. So honestly, critiques I have no problem with. If somebody's going to tell me my work is garbage and I need to redo my entire work, that is exactly what I'll do. But the way that they present themselves and the way they talk to you is completely unprofessional. So that, whatever. There's not much you can do about it. You just got to swallow it and move on. I felt that I learned a lot going into that class or coming out of that class, and that's really what matters to me. I don't care about grades. I just want to know that I'm learning something. Now, as we see it, I'm in motion capture and art creation for games. So motion capture and art creation for games. This month is awesome. That's all I can really say. This month is really cool. Motion capture is really awesome. For those people who think that motion capture is going to take over for keyframing animation, there's always going to be a need to clean up motion capture data. And also, there's also going to be a need for keyframing animation. If anything, motion capture allows animators to more jobs as opposed to taking their jobs away. So don't think necessarily motion capture is taking away jobs for animators. If you know how to clean up motion capture data, you know Motion Builder or Cortex very well, there will always be a job. But right now, we're learning the basics of Cortex, Motion Builder, and we're going to learn Endorphin too. So there's 3 software packages that we have to learn inside the month, so it's a pretty busy month. And also you're paired together with a group and you come up with a final. So like basically you have to come up with an idea and you put that idea into motion, and your final in that class for motion capture is based off that. The instructor for motion capture, I should say, is really awesome. He's worked on a lot of different things. He started off doing cinematics for video games. He is a rigger and works in dynamics, so he's very good at ink cloth and such. He actually just got done recently on the new Avatar movie. Not the M. Night Shyamalan Airbender, but the actual Avatar, James Cameron. And he's here working at the school, basically taking some time off from the industry. So he's very experienced, he's very knowledgeable, and he definitely will. I'll learn a lot from him. Also this month we have art creation for games, and that's basically creation for games, just as you see it. We learned production modeling and how to quad everything and making sure everything's very neat. Game art and game creation is very sloppy in the way that they do a lot of things, and I find myself overcomplicating a lot of the scenarios that I have to do. Basically, the motto inside of game art is just shove it in. So you're basically just merging, intersecting geometry. It doesn't even matter if it's seamless. The idea is that whatever's not shown, delete it. Try to take out as much as possible. But n-gons and bad geometry necessarily, you want to keep it as good as possible, but it doesn't really matter. Yeah. Let's see. That class right now, Project 1, we're working on a handheld scene from God of War. And Project 2 and 3 I believe, are both consoles. So like we're working on scenes from consoles and stuff like that. The idea of game art is this is what I will say, and computer animation in this school is revered as superior over game art, and there's particular reasons on why. It does offer a little bit more advancement as far as visual effects is concerned and compositing. Alright, but game art, being that you already know how to model production quality by now, because we're all in the same classes for the first 12 months, game art really focuses on optimizing your scenes, texturing and modeling and optimizing your scenes so that you could work within limitations. That's something necessarily, I mean, you could model poorly and probably get away with it, but it won't look good. Like, it takes talent to not model well, if that makes any sense at all. Game art is all about cutting corners and learning tricks and trades and how to do and manipulate things so that it can work inside the game engine. That's something you're not going to get in computer animation. Somebody coming out of computer animation may be able to model extremely well in production modeling, but those production models will never ever see the light of day inside of an engine because it would render at like 30 or under frames per second. The idea is that you want to optimize your scenes and you want to optimize your characters and your geometry so that it will work at a frame rate that's between 60 and 90 frames per second. And that's not an easy thing to accomplish, especially when you're working on big games. I mean, like Gears of War and anything like PlayStation 3. I think we'll model 312 million polygons per second or something like that. So when you start looking at it in an aspect of what's in your scene, you obviously don't want to clutter it with 300. You want to actually condense it to 100, and then you could have a little bit of room in between to do whatever else you wanted. But game art is very particular in learning how to optimize and work with lower resolution. It's not saying that somebody can't model anything in high resolution, because by now they should be able to do it, considering we have production modeling. But it's learning how to manipulate and optimize your scenes. Okay, it's learning how to work within limitations of the game engine, and etc. So, game art is very interesting when it comes to that. So it's an entirely different thing. Not saying that if you work in or you have a degree in computer animation, you can't work in games, because you definitely can. But it's going to take more knowledge as far as to optimizing and working within limitations. So this month is pretty wicked sweet. Actually, to be honest, I learned a lot in CAN, but character animation. But anything going forward would be a piece of gold compared to how long last month dragged. So that is my newest video. So wrapped up CAN, and now I'm in ACG, Art Creation for Games, and Motion Capture, MOC. So I'll hit you up at the middle of the month, and I'll let you know how and what I think. And basically, 2 thumbs up. All right. Talk to you soon. Peace.